welcome back to Daddy and the Don. We're here for a week 11 preview of the Premier League. Today with me is my guest. First off, Jordan. Hello, Jordan. How are you?
Yeah, the one hand, mate. I'm
the one hand. Yep. Inside joke.
Bye.
Inside joke. Bottom, behind, underneath Jordan. Luke. Are you, Luke? You all right, mate?
all good.
All good. Just appeared. Here's Carl. Not laughing with me, mate. Hello, Carl. How are you?
Yeah, my late. Yeah, first I'm late for a fucking show. That's unheard of. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good,
and
buddy. Good to see you.
Down the bottom is the one. This is the one.
What?
Well, you're the one. You're the surprise guest. It's Jay. You all right, Jay? How you going, mate?
Oh, you're right, mate. It's not really a surprise, is it, if I'm on every
I know.
week?
Yeah, but you weren't advertised. You weren't advertised.
Yeah, Graham, if you'd advertise it, I want to fucking come on.
Oh. Gosh, isn't it?
What a shame. So obviously, usual lot on today. Obviously, Arsenal, Leeds, Tottenham, and Brentford. So we'll go through all our team's games, and we'll go through the Liverpool Man City game, and then I'll ask you all very briefly regarding the other games, and you'll give me a quick preview and prediction. Any comments? Fuck off, Phil. Evening, gentlemen. Hello, Manny, mate. Appreciate you watching. Manny was on the show last week. Absolute pleasure having him on. If you're watching, Manny, put your predictions on there as we go, mate. Tell us what you think of each game that we preview. We're all good. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we'll start off with tonight's game, actually. We'll go straight to you, Jay. It's kicking off in less than an hour and a half. Brentford versus Brighton. Since a little break, international break, Brentford not really been on it. Before we get to tonight's game, just give us a little reaction to Newcastle last weekend.
Obviously, no one wants to lose 5-1, but I say 3 of them goals are just fucking our own mistakes and our own stupidity rather than getting proper turned over. I think the Bear said it when he said he watched it and he didn't really see it was a 5-1 game, even though, do you know what I mean? So we were still competitive, just fucking downfall of our own doing. So, like I say, we move on. Never mind. At least it was away at Newcastle, not at home or something stupid like that. So it was always going to be a tough game away at Newcastle. So I'll take that. Got a point there last year. So, yeah, a little bit disappointing in a way, but it is what it is. I just think at the moment, we ain't got too many players in terms of like, we've got a lot of players of the very same quality. And I don't really think he's found his best team for that yet. So we'll see. We'll see the team he puts out tonight. If Shandon Baptiste starts, I might just fucking not even watch the game, to be honest.
Don't upset Marvin. Anyway, regarding tonight, how is it important to come out, quick start, give it to Brighton and get the win?
Yeah, definitely a game we can see is winnable. They don't have Basuma, who just fucking tore us a new one last year. So don't get me wrong, I think that Mwepu is pretty fucking good as well. But yeah, a little bit weakened. As long as we keep Trossard and that quiet, I think we'll be all right. But yeah, they do have some good little passing. But I think when you lose a manager, the new manager changes quite a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, so your first couple of games, they'll do okay, but the more and more into it and the more and more he tries to instill his own thing, especially on a team that was doing so well in perspective of their budget. So I think you'll see whether you actually need to change it. Do you know what I mean? Most managers come in when the fucking club's in shit and they need someone to improve them and make them kick on. Brighton needs someone to kind of be consistently good as Potter was for them, regardless of whether you like him or not. They did have good finishes in the Prem. So yeah, we'll see what Matey Boy's like tonight, if he's trying to do anything new or trying to keep it the same or what happens. But yeah.
Regarding the team tonight, do you see a few changes? How do you think you'll set up for the game?
Yeah, I think Jan Hart will start. So we'll have a normal centre defensive mid rather than 3 attacking ones, which kind of, we lost the game last week in Newcastle in a way with that. I don't see Josh Da Silva starting. He got subbed off before Baptiste. So I think he's going to go Jensen, Baptiste and Yano. And then obviously the normal suspects everywhere else. Janssen's injured, but I think Pinnock, even though he had a fucking absolute shocker last game, I think Pinnock will start potentially alongside Ben Mee, and then we'll go 4-3-3. But hopefully we don't go 5 at the back because I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I know a lot of fans, especially at home. Very important to get the win here, Jay. Obviously, if you don't get the win here, a lot of people will start muttering that you might be in trouble. Even if you don't get the win here, will you panic a little, or do you still think that you've got enough to be okay this year?
Look, I don't think it's a guaranteed win, to be honest. I think I would rather look and say, what did we do against them in the same game last year? And we drew. No, we lost at home because they scored very late on.
Yeah,
they lost.
doubled you
We
last
lost at home because they scored very late on. So when you think like perspective head, what's reality? As long as we don't lose, we've improved on the result last year, and as long as you prove on the individual results, your end season will be a higher place than last year. You know what I mean? So if you look at everyone's a bit frustrated about last 3 games, but Man United and the goals against Leeds, they're not exactly games that are going to happen week in, week out. They're kind of freak games. So we're not going to beat Man United week in, week out. They're 5th at the moment. And they had a fucking shocking start to the season. They're still Man United. So, like I say, as long as we do what we did against teams last year and improve on that, we'll stay up.
Cool. Jay, we'll go back to you. I'll just go to the other guys. Just get a brief word on the game and the prediction from all you do. I'll start with you, Jordan. Your thoughts on this game and what you think the score will be?
Still think Brentford, they've got a bit of a stranglehold, at home. They seem to sort of relish in that atmosphere. So I can see this ending in a draw, I think 1-1. But if Brentford don't pick it up, that they could get beat again tonight. I don't see them being in trouble this season. I think bottom half finish, but Jay, if I'm you, I'm happy with I always say any place higher than 17th or 17th or above, I'm always going to be happy with that. So
yeah, I agree 100%.
I don't think it's way too early to start panicking. You've already had a couple of good results early on, so I don't think this is a defining game by any means. And I mean, come on, Brighton have been really solid since Potter's left, to be honest, and they could be pushing top 8 finish in the way that they've been playing at the moment. So I don't think this is an easy game for Brentford. So I think a draw would be a good result.
Yeah, Luke, just get your thoughts on this game. On Brighton as well, because I know they played you last time out. They were quite unlucky not to get anything from that game. Your thoughts on Brighton and what do you think the score will be here?
Brighton are a good side. You see, obviously, they lost their manager, but they've managed to sort of maintain a level. They've got some results. We managed to scrape a 1-0 away. It's not an easy place to go to. Obviously, they're playing away at Brentford. Brentford coming off a loss against Newcastle. I don't think there's a lot to separate the two teams, to be honest. I don't think Brentford and Brighton are mountains apart. I think in terms of levels, they're relatively on par. So I think this may well be a draw as well. I think this could be a 1-1.
Fair enough. Carl, you there or you disappeared? Have a wank?
No, back a minute, hang on.
Yeah, yes. Hang on.
Do you dip up?
Shut up. Dear.
No, mate, sorry to do you like that. No, just your thoughts on this game. What do you think the score will be, buddy?
It's an interesting one, really, because Brentford have only won 2 games all at home this season, beating United 4-0 and smacking up Leeds 5-2. Sorry about that, Jordan. Brighton are one of those teams that they prefer to do better on the road than what they do at home. They're one of the weirdest teams. They're more like road warriors of what they are like playing at home. I think I'm going to say a draw out of this. I'm probably going to say a 1-1 draw.
Fair enough. Jay, you going to back your team here? What do you think the score will be?
Always. And we always fucking concede, but I think 3-1.
3-1. 3-1. Good. We're going to go to a game. I know we haven't got any fans on each club, but it is the big game of the weekend, Liverpool versus Man City. So I will go to all of you. Just basically tell me what you think about this game and give a prediction. I'll go back to you, Luke. Just briefly on both teams. I know Liverpool got a result in the weekend, but I think the under-11s could beat Rangers. Are they ready to take on Man City, or do Man City continue getting on with it?
I don't think they're ready to take on Man City. That being said, it is Liverpool at Anfield. Liverpool, Anfield, it's always a difficult situation. It's always a bit of a toss-up, no matter what form the team's coming in with. It's always a mountain of a task to get a result at Liverpool. Having said that, I think Man City are far the superior side. That shows in the way they've been playing football, the results they've been getting, the table, everything that goes along with it. So Haaland obviously has been scoring goals for fun. He's been unstoppable so far this season. And I don't know, I think this might be a bit too much of a challenge, but we have seen teams set up correctly against City and hold them. So whether Klopp looks to do that, I don't think that would make the fans happy, but maybe he looks at doing that, or maybe they just try and overpower them. But I just don't think they have that in their locker anymore. I think their front three's weakened. They're not the same force that they once were, and yeah, I think City would just be too much for them.
You got a score prediction there?
I think I'll go for a 2-0 City.
Jordan, I know you're not a big City fan. I know you're a Leeds fan, obviously, but I know you praise City quite a lot. Do you see this being another win here, even if it is Liverpool at Anfield?
I mean, the only reason I praise City, to be fair, Graham, I just think that they're just a perfect team. They're like the Galacticos of England, really, apart from, they can't win a Champions League. But for me, there's no chance Liverpool are going to win this game. This is just like the Man United City game the other week. It's the same kind of scenario. A Liverpool team who don't know the difference between the left foot and the right foot at the minute. Mo Salah, he bagged a hat-trick on Wednesday, whenever it was. It might give him some confidence. He's still been shit. They've got no Diaz. The only thing that might help him is the fact that Trent is out. That might actually help him a little bit. Because I don't know if you mentioned it on the show the other night, but it's honestly a travesty that he's a starting fullback in the Premier League. I've got to throw it out there. But that could help him. However, there's no way in the current form, similar to like what Luke's just said, in current form at the minute, there is not a prayer that Liverpool are going to beat this City team. I think they'll score. I think they'll score a couple. I think it's going to be 4-2 City. I still think they're going to roll them over. Haaland's going to bag at least a couple, and it's just going to be a kick about with the boys.
Just saying about Trent, do you think that it's a case of being found out that now that they don't have the same firepower that they did, where they could just outscore teams, which is what, that was always the game plan, that now they're not having that same success going forward? They're being exploited more at the back. Yeah,
I think that's the case. If you're not playing this well up front, you're going to get exposed at the back. And
they're used to frighten teams.
Yeah, but I don't think he doesn't suit the system. He can't play right back. He's a right wing back in theory. So I think he's just getting exposed. And I think at the moment he needs to reinvent himself, because he's not going to get the form back playing the way they do.
I've got a different angle, Graham, actually.
Go on.
I think it's the fact that Jordan Henderson is getting older now. He can't run up and down like he used to. And he used to cover for Trent a lot. When he went forward, Henderson would drop back and he would be the anchor there. He'd be there to... He'd be the anchor. He'd cement the two, the midfield and the defence together. He can't do that as much anymore.
Yeah.
So now that he can't cover as well as he used to, it's now exposing Trent for just being a black hole on defence, and he can't do it anymore.
That's only
where would you play?
And he thought Trent was lazy.
But where would you play him though? Because he's not fast enough to be a winger, I don't think.
No, ring back. But they weren't going to play 5, are they? Liverpool not going to play 5. Well, 3 at the back and 2. They're not going to do that. So that's the thing. He's sort of like, he's a bit stuck. Carl, Liverpool get a result here, or are you sticking with the other two? Man City carry on their form and move on up?
Look, as much as we can talk about how Salah scored a hat-trick in 5 minutes, let's be real, it was against the equivalent of a League One side. No offence to Rangers, but the depth in class between English and Scottish football is fucking massive, okay? Let's just put it out there, okay? Regarding of this game, I think City are going to do another. I wouldn't say it's a demolition job on Liverpool. I think Liverpool, they are supposed to be classed as the second best team in the Premier League. Let's put it out there, okay? I think they'll put up a fight. I think City are going to have it all their own way. What I do fear, though, for Liverpool is that midfield, and Jordan brought it up very, very carefully, and that was the fact Henderson was getting on a bit. The entire midfield of Liverpool is aging. It's aging really badly. They don't have the pace. They don't have the skill anymore. And when you've got the likes of Phil Foden coming at you and just knocking the ball through like there's absolutely nothing, it's going to be a problem to deal with. So for me, I'm going to say City win this game comfortably. I think they're going to win 3-1.
Fair enough, thank you. And finally, to you, Jay, what's your view on this game? What do you think the score will be?
I'm going to slightly back Liverpool a bit, only in terms of, like, I agree with everyone, but, like, we'd all be fucking millionaires because we'd be going, we know all the fucking winning bets. So I don't think Liverpool are going to lose at home. I think it's going to be a draw, high-scoring goals. I think there's going to be, like, 3-3 or something like that. I mean, obviously, that's not super high-scoring, but I think there's 3 goals. Potentially, Man City score more. But I don't think Liverpool are as a pushover as everyone thinks. Do you know what I mean? Just because it's the Prem, every game is different, and I've got to be different from all you boring bastards.
Yeah, it's a big game. I think I didn't give my. I think Brentford and Brighton have 1-1, and I think this one will be 2-2. I think Liverpool come out for this one. I really do. But don't be surprised if City do what they do. But Liverpool are going to be ready for this one, even though they're not informed. They've still got a good side, and they're still good enough to get something out of this. Don't think they win, but I think they get a draw. I've got a comment. Let's read that. 4-3 City from Daddy in the Dawn, which is obviously Phil. So we'll move on. So a new segment in the show is that all the remaining games where we don't have a guest on that team, I asked one of the pundit teams to just briefly go through the game and give a score prediction. So obviously we will talk Everton, Spurs in a minute, and then we'll get to Leeds, Arsenal at the end. So I'm going to go to you. Who am I going to go to for this game? Luke, give a quick preview, give a score prediction. Man United, Newcastle.
I think United are starting to look a little bit more stable. Still not looking fantastic, but they're looking a little bit more stable. They were more erratic. I think Ten Hag's starting to stabilise them a little bit. Obviously, Newcastle had a big win albeit against Brentford, but it was a big win. I think this is obviously historically this is a massive fixture. It doesn't have that same impetus, but I think Newcastle look to get on the front foot. I don't think they're scared of going to Old Trafford. I think the mentality in that Newcastle team is seriously changed over the past year and a half, and they're looking to go at teams. They're looking to get results, and I don't know. I think they might be able to turn them over. I think they could nick a 2-1.
Thank you very much, Carl. Aston Villa, Chelsea.
Interesting one. I think Chelsea, with Graham Potter in charge now, I think you're going to see the better version of them. They have been solid so far from as what I can see. Chelsea, they've won their last 4 games pretty convincingly. Villa have only won 1 in their last 5, but they are draw specialists. This is what's keeping Steven Gerrard in a job right now, is the flipping draws. Someone needs to put a 5-6-0 smackdown on the guy so they can actually fire him. But anyway, this is straightforward for me. I think Chelsea win this 2-0.
Thank you. Jordan, I'll go to you for this one because obviously last week they beat you. Leicester versus Crystal Palace. What's your view on this one? What's the score prediction?
You pick one game that's like a plate of dog's steak, and this is the game I've got to play now.
Oh, you watched him last week, so I thought you could talk about how they beat you. Anyway, carry on.
Well, that's got either way. Palace are going to beat Leicester. Leicester need to wake up and sack Rodgers. I've said this to a couple of friends that I know from working at Leicester City Football Club. I told you all, even though you were all Jay were taking the piss. Oh, you must know everything. I told you, mate, they weren't going to sack him. They were having a meeting on Monday and they weren't going to sack him. They can't afford to sack Rodgers. They're that skint. They can't afford the payment to sack him. And that's going to bite him in the arse if they keep him there all season and they go down. They're going to regret not finding that 15 million quid or however much it is to fire him now.
They did three things wrong. First of all, they didn't buy anybody in the transfer window in the summer. Secondly, with Rodgers the way he's managing right now, it's going to send them down. It's looking bleak for Leicester. Their only real victory was against Forest. But Forest are just a mess right now.
So, yeah, I've score prediction, Graham. Palace 2-0.
Talking of dog shit, Jay, Wolves versus Forest. What a game this is. Go on, mate. Tell us about it.
Do you know what? I watched Forest Villa and Forest just don't have anything. Like, I rate a couple of their players. I think that Morgan Goodwhite and Brennan Johnson are good players going forward. So, like, you'd think they'd have a bit more up top, but they've just got nothing. Their goal come from a poorly defended corner from Villa. Tyrone Mings, of all people, lost his man. And this is going to be a 0-0 fucking ball draw if I ever did see one. Wolves are going to have 50 shots on goal and miss every single one. It's just, Wolves can't score and Forest are dog shit. I told everyone Forest be dog shit as well. Everyone's like, oh, they're European Cup winners 60 years ago. No one gives a fuck, all right? They're nobody. They're fucking nobody.
Jay, talking of dog shit, have this one as well.
Jesus. Is Mitrovic back? Or is he playing tennis, like Mark said?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, Fulham are at home, aren't they? So it's battle of the shitters again. I'm not saying we're not shit, by the way. I'm just saying these two are fucking worse than us. Obviously, we drew with Bournemouth, but it was a championship game. Jordan knows these games better than anyone. You're at home playing in the championship, and the team just sit. They just sit the whole game. No, I don't mean that.
What about you?
I mean, like, these Arsenal Spurs aren't going to know, are they?
Yeah.
That's not a dig. Arsenal and Spurs aren't going to know.
That is a pure dig. That is a pure dig. At least Leeds have been in the Premier League beforehand. Come on.
Yeah. Go on, carry on, Jay.
I wasn't actually mugging it. But yeah, they just sit. So I expect Bournemouth to sit for the first half, maybe try a little bit on the counter, but not be too exciting. And then maybe they'll go a little bit for the second half, end of the second half. But yeah, this is 0-0 again all over.
One more left. I'll go to you, Jordan. Southampton, West Ham.
Slight improvement. I mean, West Ham, they don't have much going for them either, do they? I mean, they got a nice win last weekend, but they've not really set the world on fire. And I still think Moyes has got to be under a little bit of pressure at the minute. They're going to a Southampton team that I still think are in trouble, and they should win. But with the form of West Ham this season, I'm going to say 1-1.
Thank you. Talking of shit, let's get to the next. Let's get to the next game. Two teams I fucking hate. Anyway, Luke, all jokes aside, before we get to Spurs, let's just talk about the visitors, Everton. I know it's still very early on, and I know they're not setting the world alight, but has Frank started to prove the doubters wrong here? Are Everton actually a better side than what people give them credit for?
No.
Let Luke answer, please.
No.
Carry on.
Yeah, I think when you look at the great escape they had last season, don't think there was much expectation for them going into this season anyway. Having said that, I think they've still not met the expectation. I think there were some people that thought they might come out a bit strong. I mean, they've got results. They have got results, but they haven't. I don't think they've played fantastically. I think they've still got one or two players that just seem to pull it out the bag for them. But we haven't played fantastically either. We've got some results. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you play as long as you're getting the results. No one cares if you play fantastic football if you're not winning. So, I think I don't think Frank's worried about the style of play. I think he's just worried about the win, which is very pragmatic. And I think that's the way really you get ahead in the Premier League is being pragmatic. So, it's not, you can't take any game for granted, but I would expect an easy win for us.
I muted Graham, fuck's sake. Going on to you, mate. Obviously, it's been a good start to the season. I know I think one defeat, one draw. Not setting the world alight every game, but I believe you're third place. Can go top at some point next week if you carry on winning. Obviously, you have to win this one. Do you expect a performance here, Luke? Do you expect entertainment, get a few goals, or is it going to be one of them grinding out maybe a win, maybe 1 or 2 goals?
I think that's all dependent on the players. I mean, if you look at the game midweek against Frankfurt, there were some players that were certainly, more on form. Son's touch was starting to find its way back. His touch has been pretty horrendous this season, but he started to find it a little bit. Kane for the first half was a little bit more stable, but he was getting a bit more fatigued towards the end of the game, and you could see that with the penalty that he missed and a couple of the decisions he made. I think in terms of how we play, the system doesn't change. The system remains the same. It's just a case of whether the players can execute the game plan and the system efficiently and effectively. I think that is possible, but I do think some of that also depends on the team that we're playing. If the team deals with us in the right way, then we're not going to look as good. But I think Conte isn't going to stray too much from what he knows. So I think it's possible, but I think even if we do have a good performance, we're still going to get criticised, and we're more likely to have a good performance if we get an early goal. That seems to be the way.
The thing is, Tottenham 3-2 of the week against Frankfurt? Some fans would prefer that. What would you prefer, Luke? A game like that where you concede a goal but score goals and look at entertainment, or would you take 1-0 every week? What's your opinion on it?
I think it lies somewhere in the middle, to be honest. I think you want to see some good performances. You don't want to always feel like you're having to scrape wins. You want to feel like you were in control of the game. We were mostly in control of the game at Frankfurt. I mean, the second goal was atrocious to give away. That was just individual error. So we were more in control of those games. And I think the scoreline there, that really should have been a 3-1. But it wasn't due to our own errors. We also had more chances going forward. Like I said, we had a penalty. Kane also could have slipped in Brian Hill for a goal. So there was more opportunity there. So from that instance, I would rather a game like that. But it's at the end of the day, if you're always relying on going a goal down and then getting the goals back, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So it's never a good idea to go a goal down because all you're doing is handing an opportunity to the opponent.
Look, I will go back to you. A few more questions. I'm going to get, again, like I did with Brentford's game, I'm going to talk to everyone else, just get a quick prediction on this one. Manny, hello, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. And listen, I wasn't expecting you to invite me on, but, thank you very much indeed. And good evening, gentlemen. How are you all?
Good, bro.
Good evening.
So we will get to Leeds Arsenal next. Last game, we'll talk there. But obviously, just a quick preview, a quick prediction on this game, Spurs Everton. I know, obviously, you would want an away win like me, like Carl. But is this going to be a straightforward win for Tottenham?
Not very straightforward, to answer your question. I think, obviously, the struggles they had against Frankfurt were all too real. But again, I think Conte's the type of manager who will know how to grind out a win even when the team's not playing too well, and he's done that this season. This should be a 2-1 win, fairly routine. Everton have really impressed me, Graham. They've shown a lot of fight, a lot of spirit. And to answer your question, I think Lampard has, turned the tide around a little bit. I think he's molded them into a team that will definitely get results against teams in the lower half of the table, and they could end up finishing comfortably mid-table, maybe in the top half, who knows. But against Tottenham, this might be, like Manchester United, a bridge too far. 2-1 Tottenham.
Before I get to the private chat boys, the chatting away there, I'll go to you, Carl. What's your view on this one? Do you think we could get an Everton win here, or is this going to be a home win for the Scum?
Since the North London derby beating, they have been very uninspiring. I don't think that, the 1-0 win against Brighton last weekend was very, very deceiving. They didn't look great at all. Neither team looked great in that game, if I'm honest with you. And then this Wednesday against Frankfurt, well done for pulling the goal back, but then they almost done a Falcon and almost fucking blew it. But they didn't, luckily. I'd probably say Everton have improved. That game against Manchester United showed they had a bit of fight and a bit of character to them, which they have lacked quite a fair bit throughout this season. But I agree with Manny. I think this one will be a step too far for them. I think Spurs should comfortably win this 2-0. They should win this 2-0.
Jordan, your mum hates for Everton apparently, according to James,
Oh,
and you hate Everton. So, is this a home win, or can you see an upset here?
Yeah, I think Spurs 2-0, easy win. I agree with everyone else. I'd rather spend my little quick minute discussing how just pikey Everton fans are, because when we played them at Ellen Road this season on a Tuesday night, there were a group of there were 3 lads outside the ground that we got talking to. They were Everton fans, and they'd parked the car in a private car park that they paid this bloke like 10 quid to put the car there because it was right outside the stadium. Because they were late getting out of the stadium, he'd locked the car park up and refused to come and open it until 6 the next morning. So they were stuck.
Because they were towing a caravan in, wasn't it?
Well, you know what it was? It was because they'd gone around nicking everyone's tyres after the game finished. They'd ended up spending too long doing that and not.
I thought that only happens in Liverpool. Nicking people's tyres. I thought that only happens in Liverpool.
Well, it's Merseyside.
Merseyside, same place.
That was a fun story, wasn't it? Anyway.
Colesberg, what about you?
What about me? Well, I think Everton Spurs. I agree with Manny. I think defensively Everton look very, very sound. I think Cody and Tarkowski are very good centre backs and have turned into a good partnership. I'm just worried that they're just not going to score goals. They've just not really got much going forward, and I don't think, like Manny says, showing heart always pays off. But yeah, I can't see them anywhere near the bottom this year. I think Frank's doing an all right job. Like everyone, Man United had a really shit start, and now they're 5th. Frank and Gerrard were under pressure. Everton are mid-table. Obviously, Aston Villa are a little bit lower. So I think you have to get midway through the season to really make any proper judgments about managers and things. And I think a lot of teams have actually been a little bit clever of not getting rid of people too early in the season and letting it play out a little bit. Because I think people can be a bit premature and get rid of people when they haven't played half the league yet. Do you know what I mean? We're on game week 9, 10, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So let's see what happens. I can see Spurs not scoring and Everton being sound at the back, and I can see it being a draw. But I do think Spurs are gonna do this 2-0.
Hey Luke, we'll finish off with you, mate. Any final thoughts on this one, and what's your score prediction?
No, I think it should be fairly straightforward, to be honest. We've not got any major injuries. I think Kulusevski might be back. He at least should be on the bench. That's another element we've been missing. I think this should be an easy 2-0 for us.
Thank you very much. I think you win as well. I think you win 1-0. I do think Everton will frustrate you, and I think you'll probably get a goal late second half, probably Kane. And you'll take that. We move on to the final game. We got 3 Arsenal fans, myself, Manny and Carl, and we also got a Leeds fan in George. I'm going to start with the Leeds fan, Jordan. Now, I'm going to put this one out here. If you lose this one, is Jesse Marsh under pressure?
He's already under pressure.
But even more, though.
I don't think so, because I'm expecting to lose this game. So realistically, I think it would be a bit strange to put more pressure on him after this. The other thing is, the problem for us is when we were in the Championship, we didn't have all these little 15-year-old rent boys on Twitter just talking shit and commenting things like Pinaldo and all this fucking weird shit. So they've all started, there's a few Leeds fans now that are doing that. Well, apparently Leeds fans. So now they're all commenting like, get the American fraud out and stuff like that. That's not how the majority of fans feel. The majority of Leeds fans are still back in Marsh. I'm still back in Marsh. There's no, I think he's under pressure, but when a manager's in that position, not under pressure, I don't think it's anything special. I don't think it's anything I'd draw particular attention to. It's still early days. And we've not had a terrible start to the season. I thought we had a terrible half against Palace last weekend. We stunk the entire city of London out with whatever the fuck we were doing in attack. I mean,
every time you come down.
We had one shot on target, and it was in the 88th minute, and it was a P-roller from Joe Gellart. So we essentially had no shots on target in the entire second half. And like a lot of people were saying, oh, well, it's just, we're no good in London and stuff like that. That's a load of crap. That is a load of absolute crap. It doesn't matter where you're playing. You have to organise the team to get ready. And we were just drastically underprepared to play a team that realistically we should be at least drawing with. And we could have drawn that game if Liam Cooper was not on the pitch. But, what can I say? Should have done better. Moving into this game, Graham, I'm not incredibly confident. I will be there on Sunday afternoon. And the last time I went to a game at 2:00 on a Sunday and I expected to lose it, we beat Chelsea 3-0. So you never know. But the way Arsenal are playing at the minute, the confidence is sky high. We're still trying to figure it out, which I don't understand why, 9 games into the season, why we still haven't really figured it out yet. But yeah, I think it could be a long Sunday afternoon for us. But unlike Man U fans, it doesn't matter if we're 5-0 down, I'll still be there. Support my team. That's all that matters, mate.
No, that's all that matters. I will get back to you, Jordan. I will go now to Carl. So, Carl, obviously we're in great form. It's looking good, but we can't underestimate Leeds here. They're still a very decent side, especially at home. How do we approach this one? Do we play the same way, or do we approach it with a bit of caution?
No, I approach it the same way. Ellen Road, when it is bouncing, it is very, very hard. It is very, very hostile there. I think for Arsenal, they have to go for the juggler literally straight off the kickoff. Thursday night when we played Bodo Glimt, that was a horrendous display by us. 2/3 of our team was out, but it's only one time in the year where you win the Europa League, you play on a plastic pitch, so you get that game out the way pretty quickly. So. But regarding of our form so far this season, we're averaging 3 goals a game. I haven't seen us do that for well over a decade now. I feel like, Martinelli is just getting better and better by the day. Saka's fitness is getting stronger. He looked really good on Thursday. Defensively, I'm going to say this right now. If Leeds are going to try and attack any one of our players, it's Gabriel. He has a mistake in him every single fucking time. He's called Bozo Gene for a reason. I think Arsenal needs to be very patient with their build-up play. At the first 15, 20 minutes, we know Leeds are going to try and sit back. They'll try and play the counter-attack with Patrick Bamford and Rodrigo Moreno. But I think Arsenal will still have enough to get this done, even though our bench is quite weak. But what we've got on the field should be plenty enough to get the W here.
I will get a score prediction shortly. Manny, final Arsenal fan here. So how important is a quick start here? If we can get a couple of goals, is this going to be a good afternoon here? If we do take a while to break the deadlock, is Leeds in the chance to steal a win here?
Well, here's the thing. An interesting thing about Leeds, Graham, is that they actually do enjoy playing the same 4-2-3-1 formation that Arteta likes to field. And taking a look at the team which started against Crystal Palace, you take a look at the attacking midfield, Max Aronson and Jack Harrison, and of course Rodrigo. Yeah, of course. I said Max Aronson, I think. Brendan Harrison, rather. Yeah. Brendan Harrison. Sorry about that. Freudian slip, rather.
Max Aronson, he plays for Norwich.
Yeah. Freudian slip. It happens. Please forgive me. I do apologize. But actually, those front three will also play a very big role in trying to not only, liven up the attack themselves, but also support Bamford. The two key players for Leeds, for me, might very well be the two defensive midfielders, Tyler Adams and Mark Roca. I think Roca should be starting on Sunday. Not too sure if Adams will be there. And obviously, if Arteta opts to go for the 4-2-3-1 formation of his own, I could potentially see someone like maybe Xhaka and Odegaard. If Odegaard doesn't get into the game, it's going to be difficult because we're going to need him, especially to try to unlock that defensive midfield to get it there back four and maybe give ourselves a chance. And of course, Saka and Martinelli will be key on either side. I think, Carl's hit the nail on the head. We might have to be patient with this team because obviously they're going to try to, solidify from the back, and then going forward, they can unleash themselves. And if we remember how they beat Chelsea 3-0 at Elland Road, I think they were able to sort of have that kind of build-up. And I don't get the hatred or the animosity towards Jesse Marsch. I think he's really solidified the team, but he's also got them playing an exciting brand of football that Marcelo Bielsa simply wasn't capable of. So Marsch definitely deserves time until the end of the season. I definitely don't think they will get relegated. I think once they get a few wins again against some teams well below them in the table, they will continue to rise and they could challenge for a mid-table position. Europe might be a step too far, but they do look a good team. But Carl's also hit the nail on the head. We will be more under pressure to perform on Sunday because we flatter to deceive up in the Norwegian Arctic. And as long as he has more or less his first choice 11 available, Arteta should be okay. But they will have to make sure that they display the game intelligence and make sure they go about it slowly. They're not going to be able to. They might not be able to use the high press immediately, especially if the midfield will have anything to say about that. So I think Carl's right. We should have enough to get the win, but it will also be quite tight. I think 2-1 to Arsenal might do us justice.
Thank you, Manny. Luke, when are you getting your Leeds shirt from Jordan?
My Leeds shirt?
Yeah.
It's all lily white, mate.
No, seriously though, this is a tough test. Do you think Arsenal might struggle here? I know you hope they do.
I don't think it's an easy game. I think Leeds at home. It's going to be a tricky fixture. Obviously, Arsenal's fixture list so far has been somewhat favourable, but they've overcome the majority of the challenges. The only blip being United at Old Trafford. I think it's going to be a tough one. I think Leeds have the capability to hold out, and I wouldn't be surprised. And I think this may well be a draw.
Of course you do. You got a score prediction?
I think this could be a 0-0.
4-0 now.
That was last season.
Jay, just briefly, Shannon's on the bench today, by the way.
Yeah, Onyeka starting. Who knew?
There you go. Anyway, we've already spoke about Brentford. Just regarding this one, Arsenal going to win this one. I know you've been impressed with us, or do you think Leeds, who are a good side, let's not take anything away from Leeds, all jokes aside, can they upset the odds here, try and get a point here?
Look, I 100% think Arsenal are the real deal this year. They just look at it everywhere on the pitch, and there's strength on that bench. And for me, Hal Smith-Rowe isn't in that team. Obviously, he doesn't deserve to be, but for me, he was an absolute baller last year, and the team that he can't get into has got to be a pretty fucking good team. So Arsenal are the real deal. But I watched Leeds, and they didn't deserve to lose 5-2 to us. It was just a bit of a freak show game. And they are good going forward, and they do make very good movements at the top end of the pitch. But I think Jesse Marsch's problem is they concede too much because they're too gung-ho, and I don't think he's got that mindset. Just a quick question to Jordan. Would you say Jesse Marsch's approach is the same as what Bielsa did?
No. The key difference is that Bielsa pressed for the sake of it, whereas Marsch is got him in it's kind of like a Gergen press where they're pressing when they need to. So it's a little bit different. The main reason we're conceding so many is because we've not got the personnel. Our defence is absolute toilet.
Yeah. But he had the budget to buy players because they bought a lot of players. You bought a lot of players this year.
Yeah,
we've got a
strength in the back.
You can't say he didn't. So that's his. I think that's Jesse Marsh's fault, and I don't think he's the right man for Leeds.
The issue for me, mate, is he doesn't. It's never up to him. It's Victor Orta who signs all the players. This has been an issue for years. The fact that the manager doesn't get the final say on the players. Victor Orta.
How many did he bring from his old club?
They were all scouted.
So he's got to have some sort of say, isn't he? So I think, it's a bit easy to blame your sporting director sometimes. Or
last year we Gvardiol, who's at Leipzig, who's been touted at like 60, 70 million quid now. We had a chance to sign him in January for 8 million. Before we went to Leipzig, and Marsh said bring him, and Orta said we'll wait till the summer. We waited till the summer, and all of a sudden he's worth 70 million quid. We can't afford him.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but he's not defending. That's where your issues are.
He's a centre half.
Yeah, he's centre half.
Oh, fair enough. All right, I'll shut me now.
Yeah, Jay, you got a score prediction, mate?
Yeah, I think Leeds will win. I really do. Just as an outside bet. I know Arsenal are the real deal. I'm not slagging him off. I'm just saying it's the Prem. I think Leeds will win this game.
Okay. Jordan and Carl, I'll go to you two. Final thoughts. I'll start with you, Carl. Final thoughts on this game. What's your score prediction, mate?
I think Arsenal will get the job done. As much as I'd like to say Leeds have got some optimism trying to get something out of this game, I think as soon as Arsenal get that first goal, Leeds come out and it will just open them up completely. I say Arsenal win this game 3-1. And I say 3-1 because we can't keep a clean sheet to save our fucking life. So I'm going to say 3-1 Arsenal.
Jordan, final thoughts on this one, mate. What's your score prediction, buddy?
Well, like I said about the Chelsea game, I jokingly said that morning that we were going to win 5-0. I wasn't actually that far off. So I'm going to say I can't back against my own team. If we're going to win, it's going to be 2-1. That's the only scoreline we're going to win by. So 2-1 Leeds.
I'll say 2-1 Arsenal. I think Leeds are a good side. I do think Leeds got some good players going forward. I do think when your best centre back is Robin Koch, you have a problem.
But he's been good this year.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's bad, but he isn't that good, and he's your best centre back. So that's where you lot that's probably where you lot need to strengthen. We've already said that. I know I'm not a Leeds fan. I don't know this side inside out. I'm not gonna, but I do think if you've sorted your midfield out. I think you've got a really good midfield. I mean, Aronson, I think Siniesta, they're good players. So I think you just need to maybe get someone in the January transfer window to probably help you stay up. You'll be fine. You're a good side. It will be hard. But yeah, I'll back Arsenal as well, 2-1. So before we finish, guarantee of the weekend. So I really appreciate you all coming on. And Manny, thanks for joining midway through. Guarantee of the weekend. Does anyone want to go first? I'll start with you, Manny. What's your guarantee of the weekend? You're muted. No, he's carrying on.
Listen, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, my guarantee of the weekend didn't really work out that well, mate. I mean, it obviously was threatening to descend into a bit of a niggly, heated clash, but thankfully, there were no sendings off. But it is hard to say. I think my guarantee of the weekend is that there will be one more managerial casualty by the end of it. I don't know who, but I'm sure there will be one.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Jordan, what's your guarantee of the weekend? Oh, he's off.
He's frozen.
I mean, you've got it. Why mess with perfection? Holland's going to in the back. Hello.
Yeah, go again, mate. Go again. Start again. We didn't hear you.
You hear me now? Yeah. My guarantee of the weekend. I mean, why mess with perfection, mate? Haaland to bag a brace against Liverpool. Maybe a hat trick, but definitely a brace.
Jay, guarantee of the weekend tonight if you want.
VAR to have a shocker again.
Guarantee for me, Jesus gets a brace against Leeds. Carl, guarantee of the weekend.
Newcastle beat Man United.
And Luke, guarantee of the weekend.
Let's go Gerrard getting the sack.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone commenting. Manny for coming on. A few people. Big up, Cowboy Gunner. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. And yeah, Phil said Timmy has to get a red card. That's it for today's show. There is some football on now. Brentford versus Brighton. I'm sure Jay will go. Jay, quickly, why didn't you go in the end? You said you were going to go.
I was work late, mate. You know me, I'm banned from driving, so I can't get up there unless I fucking sort it out.
I'm banned from driving.
Either that, Graham, or he loves you too much.
You look like the sort of person that's got 6 points on his license.
He's got more
than 6 points, mate.
He's drinking Carlsberg. That's enough, isn't it?
I've got more than 6 points.
It's the ankle bracelet that pulls it all together.
Jay and Luke, I don't need to go to. Usually Jay and Luke on here all the time. But with everyone else, I'll just go around quickly just to get where we can find you on other channels and whereabouts we can locate you. I'll start with you, Jordan. Tell us about where we can locate you, apart from the prison.
You can find me in the pits or Leeds, or you can also find me on Twitter at Jordan_NBA. Very heavily NBA content. I also do the End of the Bench show for Monday Talks on a Wednesday night. We've also got a brand new show coming ahead of the NBA season, which starts on Thursday next week. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Starts on Tuesday. So, yeah, make sure you keep your eyes out for that.
Thank you, Jordan. Oh, bear with me. I'm doing the Monday now. Manny, where can we find you? What other channels are you on, mate?
Yeah, first of all, Graham, thanks for bringing me on. You didn't have to do that, but it means a great deal to me. Love coming, love being a part of everything you do. And anytime I get to talk to you, you talk about how much you like my voice, but your company and your voice, it fills me with happiness too, mate. Mainly, you can catch me on Twitter. The ID is Thangatherai1981. On Instagram at Manny Thangatherai1981. I'm probably a little bit more active on those two channels. You can also find me on several other channels on YouTube. I don't have my own yet, but I am trying to work on it. Obviously, Del Boy Gunner TV, S. Featley TV, Oris Talks Football, Coach's Corner with Hanno Trollope, The King's Football Show, the Football Podcast with NS Sports TV. I've started coming on a few more channels and becoming a regular there. You can catch me on Tony Claude Gunner TV, and also I want to big up Bournemouth fan channel, Up the Cherries in All Departments. I've been on their channel of late quite recently, just talking about a lot of things Bournemouth as more of a neutral fan, really. They terrific people, terrific content, great interviews. Do check them out whenever you can. There are so many more I want to shout out, but I don't think I have the time to, or maybe they're just not in my head. But I love them all. Love being a part of their endeavors and everything they do. Anytime I get to come on any channel, it's always wonderful. I get to say what I want to say, just talk football with a bunch of like-minded people. We might not be on the mainstream, but we have the passion and we have the heart, and that suits us just fine. And I'm really glad to continue doing this. So, Graham, thanks a lot again. Love to you and the family as always. Peace to everyone. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. And I'm out.
Thank you, Manny. And finally, we're going to go to you, Carl. Where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at KBSports31. You can find me on my YouTube channel, KB Sports. So I do a lot of the New England Patriots and obviously Arsenal FC. Just a quick one, Graham. You was very, very brash last week when you turned around and said how much your Lions are going to beat the Patriots. So thank you. No. Thank you so much for laying a massive goose egg. 29-0, sunshine. You came up against a legitimate defense. You were shit.
Right.
Anyhow. So yeah, you can catch me on those channels, and catch me on Sunday as well. I'll be live streaming for the Leeds Arsenal game on KB Sports as well, part of the Gun Down show. So, yeah, hit me up on that.
Remember, Kyle, he who lasts longest. You've still got to play Tom Brady and our Buccaneers. We're coming for you.
Hang on. We ain't got the Bucks in our schedule. What do you want about?
Oh, you don't? Well, you dodged a bullet there.
All right. Carl and the Don, by the way. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoys the weekend of football and tonight. Once again, thank you, everyone. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And we will see you Monday for a Week 12 preview. I believe Jay, Oris, someone else is going to be on the show. If anyone, and Carl, of course, Carl will be on as well. So we'll see you on Monday. For now, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming on. And where the fuck is Luke gone? Bye. Cheers, guys.